Well, it's the final day of the NATO summit here in Madrid. We're expecting to hear from the Prime Minister a little bit later on, probably trying to spell out the details of that announcement that was made overnight about an extra 1,000 troops that are going to be deployed to NATO's eastern flank and an extra £1 billion as well, in addition to, actually, frankly, more than £2 billion that's already been contributed to the efforts in the war in Ukraine in recent months. It's clearly quite a sizable contribution. The UK, along with NATO allies, Germany, the United States and others, insisting that they do have Ukraine's back in this war. I think, as Emmanuel Macron, the French president, put it quite recently, that this is a war that Ukraine needs to win. Jens Stoltenberg, the NATO Secretary General, suggesting that there was a clad iron guarantee that they would have NATO's backing whatever the costs. And that is why we're seeing these announcements in the recent days about extra supplies of weapons, communication systems and fuel to try and help out the Ukrainians. Frankly, though, the Ukrainians, as always, perhaps unsurprisingly, want to see NATO go further. But in the end, it is also a reminder, in many regards, about the restraints and the constraints on Britain's contribution. And the reason I say that is because many people feel that actually, given the cuts we've seen to the defence forces in recent years, and I say many people, I include the Chief of the General Staff in all of this, that they think it is not necessarily terribly sustainable to carry on cutting the defence forces, particularly the army, in the years to come, while trying to up our contribution to NATO. And so what we've seen this week is a real big debate, actually, within government, in which the Ministry of Defence, the Foreign Office, have essentially been campaigning for an increase in defence spending at a time of a cost of living crisis, and Downing Street and the Treasury not necessarily being wholly on board with all of this. And it is a really, really crucial debate about whether Britain can afford, frankly, at this time in which there's calls for tax cuts, in which the cost of living is going up, whether we can contribute more to NATO, whether we can increase defence spending. And I expect it is going to be a debate that rages within government in the weeks and months to come, as those calls for greater defence spending only grow.